action.
Hello and welcome to Access All Areas, brought to you by OPSM. The Adelaide Crows got defeated in a big upset. The Kangaroos, what a massive win over the Pies, and the Bombers got hammered. Damien Barrett, it was fair to say an extraordinary round 21 of the AFL season.
Yeah, it was, Das. And what it also did was set up an enthralling fortnight to come. I want you to tell us right now who makes the 8.
Well, it's out of Fremantle and Carlton, Damo. It'll come
Simple
down
as
to
that.
those. Bombers, in my mind, are gone, and St Kilda are definitely gone.
Okay.
I reckon it's going to be a half a percentage point that will decide it. It'll come down to how Carlton go against the Gold Coast and how Fremantle against Melbourne. I reckon they'll lose the other two, and who wins by the biggest margin over the bottom of the ladder sides will get there. And we might have a situation in the final game of the year where it's 2 or 3 goals difference and half a percentage point.
All right, on the line, who is it? Freo or Carlton?
Toss a coin. I'm going to go Fremantle stay inside the 8. I reckon they'll smash Melbourne in the last game in the West and just get there on percentage.
Das, really enjoyed Channel 7's coverage Saturday night. Full access to the North change rooms before the game. It was we hadn't seen it before in footy. It could have gone the other way for North had they lost the game, because the media tends to focus on these things. That would have been a negative for North. It wasn't though, was it? It was a positive big time.
Full credit to North Melbourne and Brad Scott in particular, because it's the senior coach that dictates whether or not you get access. And as I said, it was total unprecedented access. Nothing was off limits. Inside the massage rooms, we set up our hosting position.
No restrictions at all? You
at
can
all.
do
In the
you want.
change rooms. And normally, you know, if you go into a locker room, clubs are very protective about noise, and you've got the old trainers there going, quiet, everyone just, if you're there as a guest in the rooms, they just said, you go and broadcast and do whatever you like. Personally, if I'd have been playing fight, I would have hated it, because I just thought the rooms were... As a media person now, I loved it. And Brad Scott's comment was a great one. He said, if we're going to have our win or loss record determined by the fact there's an extra camera in the room, we've got bigger issues. Get on with it. What a great result for North Melbourne sponsors Mazda, for their supporters to get an inside look in the rooms. They go out and play the house down, have a big win. Tick for North Melbourne, and great result when you end up winning.
I'm sure you at Channel 7 have got a good sleep on Saturday night though, but there's a few people in footy who haven't slept all that well over the course of the weekend. Of the 5 options there, in your eyes, who's had the most sleepless
There was
weekend?
a shot of Brenton Sanderson staring up at the roof going, we've just given up outright top position.
Yep.
I reckon Collingwood are really concerned about their big forwards and the way that game unfolded. There's some real issues there. Dane Swan not playing. Justin Kaczynski, when you have a nightmare of a game, Damo, you literally cannot sleep.
One stat.
And was subbed out because he just couldn't get near it. Well, the weapon, I think that horse was bolted for the weapon. I think he knows that it's trouble
He's
for
been
him.
sleepless for 6 weeks.
Absolutely. And David Cloak and the Cloak family and Travis's management, I think they've got a few more worries to come as well. But they were the big stories out of the weekend.
Is that irreparable now with Cloak and Collingwood?
It's heading down that path, isn't it? The longer it goes on, the language that's coming out of Collingwood, the more that his form struggles, it seems the more likely is that he won't be at Collingwood next year.
A prior opportunity was a big issue a couple of Friday nights ago when Rioli was tackled late in the game tackled Duncan. Now, this was ticked off by the AFL after the event, saying that he actually didn't have prior opportunity. We raise this incident now, though, because there's some contrast on the weekend here. Take us through these ones, though.
Yeah, both of these are paid holding the ball, and you could argue that there's absolutely less prior opportunity than the one that was paid okay with Silver. Now, this one is just, out and out wrong. Now, if it's a mistake and the umpiring department put their hand up and say, got it wrong, then we're a bit clearer on it, because I reckon that's the one that confuses fans and angers supporters the most, is the prior opportunity holding the ball decision. I just think you've got to give players more time with the ball. You've got to reward the fact that the player's gone and won the ball. Now, if you take them on, you take your bounce, you get caught, it's no problem.
So those 3 incidents in your eyes should have all been let go?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I think, you pick the ball up, you take one step, you get tackled, the ball spills out. That's play on, and it always was in my eyes.
So that was right with Rioli, but the 2 on the weekend, incorrect decisions in your eyes?
Yeah, I think all 3 of them. I don't think there was enough prior opportunity. Once you straighten up, the game's played at breakneck speed. I think we reward the tackler too much. I think we should reward the guy with the ball in his hands more often.
What about this next one, the Steve Johnson incident, as we now refer to it, the kicking across the body on Friday night? Did this one get right?
Well, I can't see how it is. I mean, we've actually got a line through here, Darren.
This is Brett Rosebery lining up the St Kilda defenders.
5 metres, we reckon that's absolutely correct. And my issue is, now the St Kilda players, well done, did their homework. They know this is the way Stevie J likes to snap around his body. Umpire calls play on.
Why?
Well, I think he's anticipated. He's done his homework as well, and he realises that Stevie J is going to do it. Now,
he calls play on before
hasn't
Stevie
moved. Hasn't moved.
Unless he's called him to play on under the 30-second rule, which I don't think he would have.
No way.
Why is he told to
Well, I think because he's anticipated, and the umpiring department have ticked that off. He shouldn't have. And Geisha said, behind the 5 metres, well done to Jack Stephen. Jack Stephen got a start because of the umpire blowing his whistle, I think, a little too quickly. And I hope that doesn't go to the game. I love the fact that Stevie J's invented the side kick around the body. If he loses confidence in that now and that style of kicking, you can see why you have to put that one away.
Would his coach have been partially... would that have been partially the reason his coach went off at three-quarter time? It's taken him 45 matches of his coaching career, Chris Scott, to be seen in this type of mood. He went off, didn't he? I love
a good coaching spray, Dana. It reminds me of playing so much. Clarko does it every week. He's pretty well attuned to it. You can get the good jugular vein there, David Parkin style, which I genuinely enjoy. Now, John Longmire's a bit the same too. He hasn't had to worry about it. Bulldogs were in front at quarter time, and he has just gone berserk and given the players the rounds of the kitchen. It's still there. It's still a good weapon up your sleeve. They don't use it anywhere near as much as they used to in the past, but I like it when it comes out. Hey, speaking of sprays and conflicts with the coaches, a bit going on between Ross Lyon and Damien Hardwick. Aaron Sandilands was a late inclusion in the game. Damien Hardwick thought that it was perhaps outside the fairness of the spirit of the game. Yeah. You spoke to Ross Lyon, pretty fired up about it?
Oh, he was. I texted him Saturday night after I was made aware of it, and he rang straight back and was happy to have this made public. He's just ropeable that any sort of inference is being made against him and his club that this was outside even the spirit of the game. And I take him 100% at his words. I don't buy the people who are subscribing to the theory that his eyes bouncing around in that press conference meant that he was hiding something. He was so worked up over it that 100% I believe him. Other thing, I don't know why Damien Hardwick would raise it, in all honesty, given they've had another loss. Had a few losses this year. I would have thought no-go zone for him.
Dame, a lot of rumour and innuendo around Buddy Franklin, who's now missed 6 weeks with a hamstring injury. Doc Larkin's in a minute to tell us exactly what's going on from an injury point of view. Can you put some of these rumours to bed? You and I have both spoken to Hawthorn people that say absolutely nothing in it. Yeah,
look, I think the way it's played out, there's something to it. Now, whether it's his hamstring that's been re-diagnosed, and Doc will take us through that, but clearly the car crash he had a couple of weeks ago, it threw him to a point where he didn't want to play last week. It just rattled him enough on the back of the hamstring to be taken out of last week. What happened on the weekend? Again, happy to take people at their word in footy, because that's all you can do. Ask them a question, they tell you, they said he was sick, happy to take them at their word.
Hey, time for our OPSM poll question. Now, Damo, head to our Facebook page to register your vote on can the Kangaroos win the flag? We'll have the result of the poll and access all areas on Friday with Damo and Lethal. Not sure they can win it to North Melbourne. I reckon they might do some damage come finals time.
Looks that way, doesn't it? 9 out of the past 10 victories. Hey, Das, just the OPSM poll question from last week, the one you posed, were WA fans the worst behaved in the country? I don't know what you've got against WA people, but Rob, and this was a theme during the week, who people tweeted us in, I like access all areas, but Luke Darcy uses the show to bash the Eagles and WA far too often. I've had enough. And that was a theme, and I reckon he's onto something. You need to get over it, mate. This Suvic and Danny Southern stoush from all those years ago and the Michael Gardner attacks from the Bulldogs, it's a problem for you.
The problem for me is that I've got to go over there this weekend and do the Collingwood and West Coast game. That's the main. Rob, I love the West. Always had a great affinity. Lots of my teammates are Western Australians. Can get a little bit feral at times, Rob, but don't take it personally. We just read them as we see them.
It's got personal with you. A game at the ground on the weekend, the Perth ground. Luke McGawan had a few problems, didn't he?
These are two of the best clangers that you'll ever see, Damo. Bar none, 2 metres out. All he has to do is kick it a metre high. And we shouldn't laugh, because speaking of sleepless nights, if he slept, he's a better man than me. This is a total brain fade. A cerebral meltdown, I reckon, is the only way that you can describe that for Luke McGawan. It shouldn't make you laugh, but they live with you forever.
Does this one make you laugh too? Mark Williams needing a little bit of cooling down in the box on the weekend.
We're all different, Damo, but he may be more different than the rest of us, Choco. He's got his own fan. This fan comes with him everywhere. Goes all around the country. He turns it on, he turns it off. And what I liked was the stats man alongside him just going, you're a very strange man, Choco.
He is a weird man.
Absolutely. Hey, a reminder of our OPSN Fan Face-Off competition.
OPSM is giving you and a friend the chance to win the ultimate 2012 Toyota AFL Grand Final experience with the OPSM Fan Face-Off. Download the OPSM app and share your fan face to win.
So get your photo uploaded, but don't forget to share it with your friends, because the more you share it and the more votes you get, the better your chances are, Damo.
Hey, I want you to take a look at this incident from the weekend. Selwood and Brennan, teammates doing some damage to each other. How does this happen in footy? I know it does, but shouldn't they be conversing a little bit more than they were?
It happens, Damo, because our game is played at breakneck speed. It's a 360-degree game, and it happens all the time. It happens at training. You collide with people inadvertently, and I reckon the match review panel should have a copy of that. They should have it on high rotation, and they should get an understanding that there is a thing that's called accidental contact. Now, if that had been an opposing player there, we'd be looking at a suspension. We'd be looking at reckless would be the word that was being used. Alternatives could have been taken. It is ridiculous that players get suspended for things that happen that are accidental. Now, you slow that down, you could say, was Brennan, potentially reckless, and did he leave the ground? You did, because they're both trying to get the ball. And I reckon we suspend players far too often because we've got these unrealistic expectations about how you can control things.
There was a brother last week for Selwood and a teammate this week. He gets himself into those situations, doesn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's the way it happens. They play the game with a lot of courage, the Selwood brothers. No doubt. Speaking of courage, Damo, I want to talk about Tom Lonergan. This is the bravest thing I reckon I've seen for the year. We were working on radio on the weekend, and Gary Lyon actually jumped out of his chair. So that's the most courageous thing he's seen in football.
That's 2006. Tommy Lonergan going back, which, as we now know, nearly lost his life as a result of his kidney being removed in that incident. There's a massive similarity right there on Friday night, though, isn't there, to what he did in 2006?
No, but you can't underestimate the amount of courage it takes to do that.
I hate watching this stuff.
When you've had a kidney lost, and as you said, you've been in that situation before, to actually have no regard for your own safety, to go back and value the way that you attack the ball more than your own physical well-being. It takes a courage that's very hard to describe, and it was fantastic. We spoke to him after the game. He said, it's my good side. I know the kidney, I've lost one on that side. On the other side, I get a little sheepish now, but well done to Tom Lonergan. Great bravery and a great part of our game. We've got to take a break, Damo. Up next, a lot to talk to Dr. Peter Larkins about. He has got all the latest on the injuries from the weekend. But now it is time for Did You See That?
Round 21, when we all saw Beams squeeze it in.
Beams around the corner, travelling goal, magnificent kick.
And McLean clean up.
He snaps and kicks a wonderful goal.
There were some clips you may not have seen. North Melbourne fans.
They are back in front.
St Kilda fans.
He used to do us too, Bruce, remember? He doesn't own up to that now.
And GWS fans.
That's gold.
The top clips you missed from a week of ball flinging fun. This is Did You See That?
Did you see that?
Clip 1. Another week and another chance for Howe to earn some more frequent flyer points.
It's just a supreme leap, isn't it? Look at the spring. Up he goes.
Clip 2. Luke McGuan's attempt on goal was a real howler. But his next wasn't much better.
What? What's that?
Did he miss that?
You've done it again.
Clip 3. Daniel Rich has kicked more goals outside the 50 than inside 50. And did you see him add to that tally?
It's squeezed in. Finally, the Lions get some luck.
Clip 4. Did you see that this week, Roughhead became aroused?
I'm going through your little article here, Jay-Z. Can you explain to me who these people are?
Someone's hit the wrong button in the spell checker. So Cyril becomes Serial, Roughhead became aroused, SCG sacked, so mate, just the gremlin.
Clip 5. Did you see Rivers pluck this goal out of thin air?
Oh, you don't need your hands when you're Jared Rivers. The EPL starts this weekend. That's a nice finish.
Clip 6. Most injuries can be relieved by a gentle rub down from the physio.
He'll end up with bruising in that, just from the massage.
But this doesn't apply to all injuries.
Through some contact.
He's too good, right in that certain spot.
There'll be no trying to rub them better.
To vote for your favourite Did You See That moment, and to have the chance to win a pair of Oakley sunglasses valued at $159.95, go to afl.com.au/Did You See That.